there was an opportunity where really I should have made the choice to have left him. But unfortunately, every time I tried to leave him, it got difficult. And then in the end, he was beating me up constantly, absolutely constantly. I've got lots of evidence. He's been in prison. He went to prison for the 7 months nearly. And then the time before that, he got convicted. But my parents entertained him. Let him go to their house while he was on bail to keep away from me. And it's a long story, but cutting it short, justice will betray. It will. I'm telling you now. Give up. Oh yeah, I know it. Damn right, I know it, Steve. It will be sorted out. If people choose to live not accepting truth and stuff like that, then, you know, I'm a great believer that truth always comes out in the end. Always. It's quite sad, really, to think that my parents seen me for about 1.5 years, totally withdrawn, wouldn't come out of my house, sleeping all the time, black eyes, broken teeth, broken foot, more black eyes. He even got convicted for battery as well, yet they still entertained him. You know what I mean? So my mum and dad were probably just as blinded with him because he's very good at his lies, very good, believe me. So, and he's still doing it now. He's actually telling people, which is quite hilarious, really, that I attacked him in his bed and all this. So it's quite funny, really, because he's got to live with what he's done to his family for the rest of his life. But, you know, you got to have a heart to even give a shit, don't you, really? So, but yeah, like I say, I've got nothing to hide. What you see is what you get. Don't care if you like it, don't like it. That's your own choice, isn't it? So I just live in the truth, and I can't even go a day at a time because even that's too much sometimes. I go moment as it is, and that's it. I can't make plans, so if anyone ever makes big plans, believe me, I probably won't stick to them, but I'll try. I wouldn't do it on purpose. It's just like I say, with the brain injury that I have got, it does cause me to be quite forgetful as well sometimes, so I just have to, you know, take it as it comes. But my parents have been great though. Before I'm saying like making it sound like it's terrible. They're doing a lovely job with my children, so I can't complain. Yeah, just thought I'd better make sure I put that one in. So yeah, let's. Oh, that's nice, Nikki. Oh, a massive fart, did you say? Yeah. I have though, that's what I mean. That's probably half my problem. My heart is, you know, on my sleeve all the time, and it isn't it really. And I've had to learn to not do that really, because it's left me quite a target, vulnerable really, to have too much of a heart, because I'm a sucker for bloody helping somebody in need, you know what I mean, or something, and too many forgiving chances. So I'm just an idiot. But never mind. I'm learning. Yeah. It'll be fun life eventually again. Don't know where to look because the TV's there, the laptop's there, and I'm like, what? Yeah, it is nice to catch up with a lot of you that's been saying hi and that. That's one thing I do say as well, and I don't mean to, I'm not very good, like I say, at keeping to arrangements, because some days my problems are really quite bad, and I don't mean to not see people or change plans. It's just that it can get quite bad for me, the problems that I have, because if it's not anxiety, it's the headaches and stuff like that. So still got to try sorting out with a specialist and that, so hopefully that will improve in time. But since, like I say, the brain injury, it's constant headaches that I've had. They can get really quite bad, so it kind of can't predict things. So, but yeah, won't dwell on it. I'd say it knocked some sense into me, but it actually knocked it out. So, well, the best way in life is just to forgive and move on in life, because otherwise, where I got myself, like probably less than a year ago, was full of anger and resentment, and it really affected me. But I think as soon as I kind of learned to forgive people for what they've done, even though it's difficult, and sometimes, you know, it comes over and I feel it quite overwhelming that, you know, that I can't forgive, and I get so angry, and I feel sorry for my neighbours next door, because sometimes I just like scream out, because it just gets too much. Because what I've been through and stuff in life, I'm not going to go into complete details, but you know, all I've seemed to do is had loss and stuff in my life, and for my children to have been taken away was, well, they're not taken away as such. I was misinformed with a lot of information, and because I wasn't in a position at the time with a brain injury to look after myself, let alone my children, I was given wrong information, and my parents said that I wasn't allowed to see my own children, and that wasn't the case at all. I was just made to believe that that was the case. There's no reason whatsoever that I can't see my children, but because it's the time that I've not seen them, I need it done. Probably I'll have to go and see mediation or something to do it, because I don't want the children upset and struggling again, because they've lost their dad that went to prison through what he'd done to me, and then they lost their mum as well at the same time, and you know, so not gonna cry though. I've done enough of that to last me a lifetime, but it must be horrendous and confusing for my children, and so I've got to do that one right, not because I can't, because I've got all the information I need, and this is what I'm saying. My parents have been great, they've looked after my children, and I appreciate their kindness and support. I mean, it can't be easy, you know, they're in their 60s, so you know, it's a bit something that, you know, they should be relaxing and stuff in life, but they haven't made it easy for themselves, you see. They've made the bed the way they've done it. So the problem is now they are going to have to lie in it, as the saying goes, because they've put it to that position where it's difficult for me with my children now. Because they don't even actually want to see me now, because they've been filled with misinformation. They seem to think I was as bad as Chris and I beat him up and stuff like that. But you know, luckily I can prove otherwise with everything anyway. I've got every bit of evidence I need, so I was just stupid at the time. I should have used the evidence when he went to prison, but I still felt quite vulnerable, and because he made me that dependent on him, really. I was codependent. He took away my identity, everything. He wouldn't allow me money. He wouldn't let me, sometimes, you know, food-wise as well, you know. And later, when I come back out of hospital after my brain injury, I felt really different, and I knew something had changed. And I later found that there was lots of tablets and sleeping pills and things like that. And I thought I was suffering with really bad anxiety and depression, and it turns out that it was actually more than likely self-medicating me with sleeping pills and stuff. So that's why I was withdrawn, and that's why I was ill, and that's why I didn't want to go out. So yeah, because he put me in a position where he wanted me, and that's yeah. I hope things will work out with my kids, though. I do, because my children, you know, like I say, they lost their mom and their dad straight, you know, like that. I put my son in my mum and dad's care because my son and my ex-partner were clashing, and my son, with his problems, I thought the best place to do, what I was doing is I was working slowly to get away from him. And I had pathways involved in my life, and we decided that we would do like a withdrawal thing slowly. So he wasn't aware, because they were pretty sure that they were damn sure that the chances of him hurting me bad, or well, in fact killing me, was quite high. So I had to do it in a manner where nobody knew, not even my parents, because I didn't know if I could just tell them anyway at the time, because they were quite pally with Chris, you know. He was very pally. And my parents had obviously seen my injuries quite a few times, and they knew that Chris had been arrested, and he actually went to court and was charged as well for beating me up. So they had all that information. So, but they've chose now, they say that this is the best of it. I removed my children one by one out of my home because of the danger, and I knew the danger I was in, and they bloody said that I pushed the children away and took his side. So funny, really, as if. But that's what my kids think, that I didn't want them and I pushed them away. So it's going to be difficult, but I know I will get there, because I know for a fact my children do love me. And as regarding domestic issues with women that have lost their children and they're left in the home with no support and no financial help. Now, that flipping Mad May, as I call her, she, not long before Chris had his first arrest, well, his first court appearance for another attack, she brought out in the government that she was going to support women like myself through these hardship times, that women, there would be, well, same with men as well, obviously, but women with the children, that they would make sure that the man had no chance, you know, zero tolerance as regarding domestic issues. They would actually physically remove them away if they felt it's severe enough for them to go. And if they kept returning, even just the little things, then they would put the man away and like an injunction to keep away. But the police came to my house. I've got a report book this big, during the worst 6 months of his attacks, the police had been here 47 times. And at least half of those times I'd got injuries and very withdrawn. And they were asking me, has he done this to you? And I'm like going, no. You know what I mean? Because I knew I couldn't get away from him. Even my own parents came to see me the one day. They knew he'd done it. That's the worst of it. They knew he'd done it, and the police were here. And I'm there going, no, he didn't do it. You know what I mean? And it was obvious. It was bloody obvious that he'd give me them 2 black eyes in that day, and my parents just chose to ignore him, along with a lot of other issues as well. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm like really the thing that I've taken out of the whole of this is that I really want to help people that are in domestic situations. That's men as well, because men find themselves in it as well, whether that's domestic violence or abuse, because I've had both sides of that. And the physical symptoms, you know, I've still got this with my lip and that, and I've got a brain injury. But it's the mental side of it, the control, and then, you know, the fact that you're so weak and you can't look after yourself because they've made you feel that way, that you need them, you know. And so you get to a point where, like I say, you get codependent. You've got, on one side, you want to get away, you can't take it no more. But then, where are you running to? You know what I mean? When you've got no support at all. And you're scared to go because of the situation. And then you're left with no children and no money. Like, you know what I mean? I got to the point, probably less than 12 months ago, where I actually wished he'd killed me that day when he attacked me. Because it would have been so much easier and less painful and less struggle, because to go through something so horrific, to then have to go through even more horrificness, and to feel as low as I did, and to be blamed for things that I hadn't done, and to be accused of being a perpetrator as well, that was very difficult. When he went to prison, I thought my troubles would be over and things would have been fixed, and my parents would have come round and we would have sorted things out. And I have tried for the last year and a half to try and be amicable about it, and to try and explain and show them the real truth and the evidence of it all. But they're reluctant to, you know, that I should feel ashamed of myself. I'm done wrong. I'm a terrible mother. You know, like, thanks, you know, just put the knife in a bit more, and you're supposed to be my parents. But like I'm saying, where I want to do, this is what I'm saying, like, back on the track. I want to be able to do something eventually, which I'm sure I will. Don't want to work with domestic issues, but I want to work more with the families that are watching and observing people that are going through that sort of situation, and for them to be given the right advice to be able to help and to intervene, and know that you know, that they're supported, they're not going to be laughed at, and things like that, and that they're what they say is going to be taken serious. Because I don't think giving the woman support while it's happening is the best idea, because she ain't going to take it. She's, no matter what you do, you know, that's why it takes women on an average of about 11 attempts to leave a violent partner, because they just can't do it. There's reasons why: the money, the kids, and then, you know, before they know it, they're in a controlled situation where it's that bad, you can't look after yourself. And he's it made me feel that bad that I was useless and I needed him. What is needed, like I said, where I think it all goes wrong, is that there should be support for families that suspect that there's situations going on, to give them advice on how to handle it, because going in all guns blazing, now leave him, you know, that's not going to get you nowhere either. It's got to be done in a very subtle manner, and it's got to be worked very, very, you know, fine line, close. But it's very difficult to explain, but basically there's not enough knowledge for people. I mean, we all say, oh, somebody just hit that person, but do you know what I mean? You all probably brush it off, or you think, oh God, that's terrible. Why is she staying with him after everything he's done to her? You know what I mean? It's because she can't get away. She's scared. She's vulnerable, and she doesn't know, and she's got no idea how she's going to get out of it. And then the police are there every now and again with the same shit again, and they're telling you they know what's going on, but they can't do anything about it because you're saying that you didn't do it. And it's a big massive circle. You just keep going round and round and round and round. And when you've got children, that's when social services get involved, and so they bloody should as well, because it's not right for children to be brought up in that sort of environment, especially around parents that are alcoholics. You know, I like a drink, I do, I hold my hands up, but to have severe drink issues, it must be difficult to make the right choices, because I class, you know, with my dad being an ex-alcoholic. My dad is a recovering alcoholic, and he's been clean along quite many years. And it wasn't the most pleasant childhood growing up. And I think that, you know, it wasn't his fault, you know, there's reasons why he drank, you know what I mean? So, and I think in his heart, he was worried, and he's got very defensive because of the situation that he'd been through with me and my sister. I think that he probably has hold of a lot of guilt and upset. But yeah, well, going back in it, I'm glad that social services are there, but sometimes they get it wrong. They do get it wrong, but they're only human as well, you know what I mean? But they do get things wrong, and in my situation, they didn't handle it correctly at all. They didn't take into consideration that I was being manipulated and bullied by my partner to not even be able to leave my house to go and see the children, and that got used against me as well. That I wouldn't go and see them at the centre because he'd beat me up that bad I couldn't go, and locked me in the house. Basically, I couldn't get out anyway. But I was frightened to get out. I was frightened to go out. I was agoraphobic completely, and it took a bloody hard work to get myself into the mind where I can just go out, just even round the corner. But that's what I'm saying. That's another dead giveaway sign. If you've normal person, you know that somebody very well, you're going to know that certain things that have happened, that have changed in that person. They could be less wanting to see their family, pushing them away, making arguments with their family, because they're trying to protect their partner, and their partner is twisting them against them. And or your ex-partner could be doing, my ex-partner, I mean, your partner could be basically pretending to be you through messages and stuff like that, like he was with me. And you've just got to learn to truthfully, but you know your own children, you really do. And I think you've got to look for these signs with people. You know, it could save somebody's life, and it would, and it could, and it does. Don't be scared, even if you get it wrong, because my parents got it wrong completely. It's not their fault. I say, like I say, it's lack of education, and also listening to the ex and things he'd accused me of, which I hadn't done, which I can prove. So, you know, ma'am, you can have the proof. But it left me as though he made me look like a perpetrator as well, because he wanted me to look as bad as him.